Hello, my name is Kathy Gregory, and the event that I chose to visit is an Indian temple. The name of the Indian temple is called the Babs Shri Swaminara Mandir. Sometimes they call temples, refer to them as mandirs, and sometimes temple. The temple was inaugurated on August 26, 2008, and it took 17 months of construction, utilizing 1.3 million volunteer hours. The mandir is comprised of 3 types of stone. It's Turkish Lima limestone, Italian Carrara marble, and Italian pink sandstone. More than 35,000 individual pieces were shipped to the United States and assembled in Lilburn, Georgia, like a giant 3D jigsaw puzzle. This is a brochure and of the temple, and these are the activities that they have. These are other things they have. They have a gift and book shop, and I went in there, and they had beautiful things in there. This is a picture of the outside of the temple, and this is actually the ceiling. These are some of the statues that they have in there. They have all kinds of statues in there. I got to see them when I did the audio tour, and I got that from the bookstore. I also attended the Arti, the one that they had at 11:15. That's open to visitors. So I also attended that. I also have pictures that I took. Visiting this place was just beautiful. I think if you weren't a spiritual person, you still would have felt something, because it was just an awesome experience. I'm not a great picture taker, but these are some of the pictures that I took. And actually, if you look at this picture, it reminds me of one of the temples that was posted on Blackboard. It's just beautiful. This is, I think it's my favorite picture right here. I don't think I've ever been any place that was just so beautiful and grand. Okay, I did the audio tour, which is just headsets. I went to the gift shop and bookstore, and I got an audio tour. And it starts right outside the bookstore, because the bookstore is about right here. And as soon as you walk out of the bookstore, then it starts, and you go up the stairs. Once you go up the stairs, then you aren't allowed to take any pictures. I would have loved to take pictures of the inside, but you're not allowed to once you pass these stairs. And so I went in there, and once I went to each spot, it told me about each spot. Most of them were statues, but it also told you about like the ceiling and how it was made and what it was made of. It sort of seemed to me that, well, first of all, I chose this event just because I was curious. I was curious to know or experience how Indians worshipped, how they worshipped God as compared to, say, how I would worship like in church. And it seemed, the theme to me seemed to be surrounded sort of around a man named Bhagwan Samarian. And I'm going to apologize in advance for mispronouncing all of these names. But he was born April 3rd, 1781, and died June 1st, 1830. He was also known as Shahanjanan Swami, and the central figure in a modern branch of Hinduism known as Swamiranjan Hinduism. He is believed by followers as a manifestation of God. There were five successors to him, and the first successor to him was Ganatitanan Swami, and he was the first person ordained by Bhagwan, and he was accepted as the first spiritual successor. He first received his religious education under his father's guru, and his name was Ramanan Swami. Before encountering Bhagwan, he lived his life as an ideal saint devoted to serving God and others. And that's a picture of him. Okay. The second successor of Bhagwan is Bhajati Maharaja, and he was often insulted by the ignorant for his intense desire to worship God. Sort of like people are, now how they did Jesus. But the third successor was Shastraji Maharaja, and he was a scholar of Sanskrit and Hindu scriptures, and he overcame insurmountable odds to build 5 grand mandirs. Okay, the next one, the fourth successor, is Yogi Mahaja. He inspired spiritual activities for youth beyond India, promotes personal spirituality and service to society. The fifth and last successor is Pramukh Swami Mahaja. He is also the present guru of BAPS. This mandir was the fruit of his vision and blessings. It was consecrated by him on August 26, 2007, which I had mentioned from the brochure. Under his leadership, BAPS has grown into a dynamic social spiritual organization with over 3,300 centers worldwide. He reaches out to all members of society, regardless of their class, color, or age. Okay, and that's the fifth and the last one. When I was there, I also attended I think a prayer ceremony that is called the Arti. Now, when I was at the Arti, and it was really short, I think it lasted approximately maybe 5 minutes. It might not even last that long. The men we sat on the floor, and the men sat up front, and then it was this little division thing, and the women sat behind the men. There was this big statue that was covered up during the whole time that I was doing my tour with curtains. Well, during the Arti, they opened the curtains, a man came out, and the whole ceremony or prayer was in Hindu, I think, so I didn't understand what was going on. But he did prayer, and then he in front of the statue, and then towards the end of the prayer, he sort of went to the side and lit something, and then went back in front of the statue. They were doing singing slash maybe chanting, and then a plate, an offering plate, was passed around, um, and and I participated in that. I didn't know much about the ceremony that I was watching or what was going on, so I kind of looked a couple of things up. And what I found out was the ritual of the arti makes the light of the flame dispel darkness. The incense that is burnt gives out fragrance. A bell is rung, hands are clapped while one sings the arti. The arti reminds us of the greatness of the Lord because the flame that we rotate is symbolic of the cosmos, the sun, moon, and the stars revolving around the Almighty, paying homage to Him. So that's something that I found out about the arti. And traditionally, it says the arti is performed in the mornings and evenings in a Hindu household. The arti consists of a small flame which burns like a wick placed on a plate which is rotated around the deity. One of the highlights to the visit to the mandir that I went to is to witness the midday arti ceremony that was performed. It's performed daily at 11:15 a.m. It is an ancient Hindu offering made by waving lighted wicks before the sacred images to the accompaniment of the musical prayer. Many visitors have described the experience as awe-inspiring, and I think I would agree. I really enjoyed being there, even though I didn't quite understand what was going on. It was kind of clear that it was a religious ceremony and possibly prayer.